Sussex is a county shaped as much by words as by hedgerows. Its rolling downs, ancient houses, and carefully tended gardens have long attracted writers who sought to capture not just places, but a way of living. Among them was Frances Garnet Wolseley, the second Viscountess Wolseley, a woman whose writing quietly shaped how Sussex's great homes and landscapes were seen in the early 20th century. Though never a flamboyant public figure, her influence lay in observation, description, and advocacy. Through magazine articles and essays, particularly in publications such as Sussex County Magazine, she helped preserve the character of Sussex at a time when both social and physical landscapes were changing rapidly. Born into a distinguished family, Frances Garnet Wolseley inherited not only a title but a deep connection to land, gardening, and education. She was the daughter of Field Marshal Garnet Joseph Wolseley, 1st Viscount Wolseley, one of Britain's most prominent military figures of the Victorian era. Her father's career spanned the height of the British Empire. Highly respected for his organizational skill and leadership, he was also known for his intellectual curiosity and belief in discipline tempered by education. While his life was spent largely in military service, he fostered in his daughter a respect for order, structure, and purposeful work, values that would later appear in her approach to gardening and writing. Unlike her father's world of campaigns and command, Frances Garnet Wolseley turned her attention to quieter, enduring achievements, gardens, houses, and the landscape itself. Sussex, with its mixture of aristocratic estates, modest manor houses, and ancient farmland, provided the perfect setting. Her writing for magazines such as Sussex County focused on what were often called the great homes of Sussex. But her approach was not simply architectural or genealogical. She wrote about houses as living organisms, shaped by their gardens, their setting, and the people who cared for them. In her articles, gardens were never mere decoration. They were extensions of the landscape, herbaceous borders responding to the chalk soil, old yews shaped by generations of hands, and terraces designed to frame views of the downs. She described how houses sat within the land, rather than dominating it, an idea that resonated strongly in Sussex, where harmony with nature was prized. Frances Garnet Wolseley had a particular talent for translating visual experience into language. Her descriptions were precise but never cold. She paid attention to seasonal change, the way light fell across lawns in spring, or how autumn softened formal gardens into something almost wild. Writing in county magazines, she reached an audience that included landowners, gardeners, and readers who might never own a great house but felt connected to Sussex's heritage. In doing so, she helped shape a shared sense of responsibility for preserving these places. This was especially important during the early decades of the 20th century, when many estates faced financial pressure, changing labor structures, and the aftermath of war. Her articles often carried an implicit message that gardens and landscapes required knowledge, care, and respect if they were to survive. That belief led directly to one of her most lasting contributions, the Glynde Gardening School for Ladies. Founded by Frances Garnet Wolseley, the school was revolutionary in its quiet way. At a time when professional gardening was overwhelmingly male, she recognized that women, many of whom needed practical skills and independence, could be trained to a professional standard. The school offered structured education in horticulture, soil science, planting, propagation, and estate garden management. This was not gardening as a genteel pastime, but as a vocation. Graduates went on to manage gardens, work on estates, and support themselves through skilled labor. The ethos of the school mirrored Wolseley's writing. Both were grounded in observation, discipline, and respect for the land. She believed that good gardening came from understanding landscape, not imposing fashion, but working with local conditions. Sussex featured prominently in this philosophy. Its chalk downs, clay valleys, and coastal influences made it a natural outdoor classroom. Through her writing, She often highlighted how successful gardens responded to these conditions rather than fighting them. In magazines like Sussex County, her articles often blended practical insight with cultural commentary. She wrote about gardens alongside history, architecture, and rural life, placing them firmly within the county's identity. Her tone was never polemical, but it carried authority. She wrote as someone deeply involved in the work she described, someone who understood the labor behind beauty. This authenticity set her apart from purely aesthetic commentators. Although she held the title of Viscountess, Frances rarely foregrounded her status. Instead, she used her position to advocate for education, preservation, and professional standards, particularly for women. Her legacy lives on quietly, in the continued appreciation of Sussex's historic gardens, in the professional opportunities she helped open for women, and in the tradition of thoughtful county writing that treats landscape as a living inheritance. Frances Wolseley understood that landscapes are stories written over time. Through her articles, her school, and her lifelong engagement with gardens, she added her own careful chapter to the story of Sussex, one rooted in knowledge, care, and enduring respect for the land.